With the Sonic movie being everywhere in the news right now with its release, there's been a lot of discussion about it, and one of the things that I picked up on scrolling through Twitter and all that is the fact that there's this really hot debate going on in terms of like which voice actor for Sonic is better, Roger Craig Smith for the games or Ben Schwartz from the movie. Let's discuss right now.
Sauce in my bag, swag.
A quick shout out to Elaine Toons, is a fan of Metal Duckles that they drew, and Metal Duckles looks so adorable here. He looks like a little bit of a midget in here with the drawing style, and I just love how big that duck beak is, and I love the thumbs up that he's giving you. He looks like he's in a good mood, and I'd say I'm in a good mood too, so this is very representative of where I'm at right now in life, so thank you so much, Elaine Toons, I really appreciate it. Anyway, hello there beautiful human, my name is RidersDX, welcome to my channel, where today I've got a pretty interesting discussion video for you all. So as you all know, the Sonic movie is probably out by the time this video comes out. Like, I highly doubt I'm gonna get it out before it comes out. With the Sonic movie being out, a lot of people are going into the movie theaters right now and seeing Sonic, and more importantly, hearing how Ben Schwartz does as Sonic the Hedgehog. And so, unfortunately, I'm recording this video before I see the movie, and so I only have some clips to go off on. I may decide to record another part to this video afterwards if I do go see the movie in time and realize that there's so much material that I feel like I need to expand more upon my opinion on Ben Schwartz voice acting. But for now, I got a few clips of Roger Craig Smith that I'm going to compare to show off the voice actors and show them off in different emotions, I guess you could say. But before I go into that, I actually went to my Twitter and asked you all like what you all preferred. Like, did you all prefer Ben Schwartz or did you all prefer Roger Craig Smith? Now, granted, there's a lot of different things that we have to take into account with this debate. It's the fact that we've had Roger Craig Smith for a while now, like we've had him since Sonic Free Riders, and so that's been a decent amount of time. You kind of have to factor that compared to the fact that Ben Schwartz is brand new. We're just getting him for the very first time. We're hearing a brand new Sonic. We're kind of hearing like, okay, how does this one differ compared to the one we've been having for a while? So having that bias in our minds, it's a little bit interesting to see what people's opinions are. And so looking at my comments from the Twitter thread, I saw that a majority of people actually preferred Ben Schwartz as the voice actor. And so here's what some people had to say that supported Ben Schwartz as the better voice actor. They're both good, but I prefer Ben. Roger's voice seems too cheesy and can't really convey emotion well. Although that's nothing against Roger himself, I just think his voice doesn't perfectly fit Sonic. Ben actually sounds more natural and can give off emotion and humor. I think Ben can pull off humor and sassy better than Roger can. Ben also sounds so much younger and energetic, while Roger sounds like a much older and laid back Sonic, which would actually be a cool concept for the games, but for what Sega wants to do with Sonic, I'd say Ben fits so much better. Ben's voice all the way. There's something he has that Roger doesn't have. Not sure what exactly, but Ben has a better Sonic voice in my opinion. Roger's voice has never really grown on me. Ben Schwartz does a great job voicing Sonic, and his voice for Sonic is probably the most decent we've heard yet since Jason Griffith. I love Ben's voice more than Roger's, and honestly, I can see him replacing Roger if he ever steps down. I prefer Ben than Roger, honestly. Ben's voice fits Sonic's personality better than Roger does. For me, Sonic should sound energetic, young, cartoony, and silly, while Roger sounds like Sonic would be in a comedy show. Not trying to be rude, Roger, but Ben wins for me. Despite all the support for Ben, there was also some people that did go to the Twitter thread and say that they still preferred Roger over Ben, so here's what they had to say. I like both, but I'd rather stay with Roger because I feel like it matches with Sonic a lot better. If they do make more movies, I would like Ben to do the voice of Sonic and Roger stick with the show/games. Roger feels like he perfectly captures the feeling that Sonic needs. Roger, I think Jason and Ryan are better. Roger can do some great lines for Sonic if the writing and direction is in his favor, as the Boom TV show has demonstrated, while Ben's Sonic is just annoying sounding to me. Then there are some people that kind of felt both ways. Roger can sound amazing when the setting and tone fits it. Take his role in Sonic Boom for example. It sounded perfect for the sarcastic, laid-back character he was in that show. Ben's Sonic sounds more young and energetic, which I think suits the character a lot more. Roger is really good in Boom and Wreck-It Ralph, but everything else, yikes. As for Ben, he's okay. I don't want to see him in the games though. So I did get more comments saying that they liked Ben better than Roger, but like I said before, we have to take into account that Ben's kind of this fresh, brand new Sonic voice for us to get used to and to gather. And I have seen cases where a new voice actor is introduced and people outright reject it. I think a lot of what has to do with like the positive reception that Ben has had while voicing Sonic is the fact that Sonic in general looks better than he was in the beginning when the movie was first reviewed. And so Sonic has been kind of like like riding the momentum of positive press. And I think Ben Schwartz, he's been giving a pretty good performance from what I've heard so far. And so I think a lot of people are like jumping and really saying outright that Ben is the better voice actor than Roger. But who technically really is the better voice actor? Now, obviously, that's a very subjective opinion, and I can't say for a fact which one is better. However, I do have a few clips over here that kind of showcase the two voice actors under certain pretenses, and then we can kind of play them back to back and really just discuss them and kind of see which ones we ultimately prefer. And so I chose 3 different settings that these voice actors are acting in. So one is Sonic's typical cocky behavior, one is Sonic being brave, another one is Sonic being emotional. And so these are 3 kind of broad emotions, but emotions that we often see Sonic in. Not so much the third one, but the first 2 we definitely see him do a lot of. And so I have voice clips from both voice actors, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the first one, which is cocky. So here's how Roger and Ben sound like as Sonic being cocky.
I'm Sonic, a little ball of super energy in an extremely handsome package. On my planet, people were always after my powers, so I came to yours. It gets a little lonely, but that's okay. I am living my best life on Earth. Ow!
That's not fear. I ran all the way over here. And you haven't left an impression. I don't know anything about you, not even your name.
You may call me Infinite in the brief moments that remain to you.
Oh, great. See, Infinite? Now we're getting to know each other. So, what's your favorite color? Do you like long, romantic walks on the beach? What's the source of your power? You can skip the first 2 questions if you like.
And so with Ben's voice clip, you know, that trailer, when it was reviewed for the first time, it had such a massive reaction throughout the whole community overall, and that a lot of it was due to the design, obviously. But it was also the first time that we got to hear Ben for the first time in the role of Sonic, and I really like Ben's performance in this section because Ben sounds very youthful, very fun, very energetic. He sounds very fresh, I guess you could say, and I think a big reason he sounds fresh is because we never heard Ben as Sonic before, so that's something we have to take into account. But Ben just feels like such a breath of fresh air when it comes to, you know, having that classic Sonic attitude that I feel like Roger hasn't been as great at capturing recently compared to other voice actors, and so I really do like Ben's performance here. Now with Roger over here, so I played a scene in Sonic Forces where Roger has some banter with Infinite, and Sonic Forces does have a lot of negative connotations with it, unfortunately, and so that's something that people will have in the back of their minds whenever they watch clips from this game. But I think in this one, Roger still does a pretty good job of voicing Sonic. You know, Sonic sounds very cocky, and he definitely has that energy with him. Like, the energy is right in my opinion. I think it's just that the voice sounds a little bit more like raspy, a little bit older, I guess you could say. But I think that fits the Sonic in Sonic Forces compared to the Sonic in the Sonic movie, because the Sonic and Sonic Forces have went through like all the different mainline games. Like, he's went through the original Genesis games, he went through the adventure games, he went through Unleash, Colors, Generations. You know, this Sonic, it makes sense for this Sonic to be a little bit older if we're gonna think about the timeline that the Sonic is in. And so I think while Roger does sound a little bit older and a little bit more mature compared to Ben's performance, I think it perfectly fits Sonic in this case scenario. Now, the one I prefer, I have to say, I like Ben's performance a little bit better, and so I'm gonna go with Ben. But let's go ahead and go on to the next clip where we see how Sonic acts when he's brave with Ben compared to Roger.
This is my power, and I'm using it to protect my friends. Let's go! Let's go!
Time to scramble some Eggman, supersonic style!
So with Ben, we didn't really get that much over here. I tried my best to find some more clips of Ben sounding brave as Sonic, but I think a lot of those clips will be left to the climax of the movie, which we won't get to see until like the movie actually comes out, because I highly doubt that, you know, we've seen a lot of different clips with the movie, but they're doing their best not to review much from the climax of the movie, you know, when like things get really tough and Sonic really has to step up his game and really just take one for the team. And so I think when I see the movie, I have better thoughts about how I think about Ben's performance under this context. But in terms of the Generations one, again, I think Roger sounds perfectly fine as Sonic in this role. I don't like, to be honest, how high-pitched Roger tries to sound when he's talking to Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik in this case. I think he's trying too hard to really infuse a lot of energy, and it's like he's trying to sound young, but he still sounds old, I guess, if that makes any sense. I mean, it still is perfectly passable, and I don't think it sounds horrible. Now, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but there is a Sonic voice actor I actually dislike, and that is unfortunately Jason Griffith. And I know that there's a lot of fans of Jason Griffith that watch my channel, which is like shocking to me because I remember when I was a kid, I hated Jason Griffith, and there was a whole bunch of us that hated Jason Griffith and want Ryan Drummond back like ASAP for the games. And so it's very interesting to see people come out of the woodwork and show so much support for Jason Griffith because I absolutely despise him as Sonic. And so it's interesting, but I liked Roger when he came in because he sounded a little bit younger and sounded a little bit more energetic compared to Jason Griffith, but that's just my opinion. So I think Roger tried a little bit too hard to act kind of cool and brave in this clip, but maybe there's another clip I could have found instead that I really enjoyed. But overall, still a pretty solid performance, but I think I have to give Ben the slight edge on this one too, but I don't think it's really fair to judge this one because Ben's clip is so short. And the third one, this is the one that I'm actually most interested in, is Sonic acting emotional. And so it was kind of tough to find a clip for Roger in this case, and Ben also because we don't have that many Sonic movie clips, but it's kind of hard to find clips of Sonic just being emotional. You know, I feel like Sonic recently hasn't really shown that much emotion within the games and the TV shows. You know, Sonic is very much laid back and very cocky and very fun, and I don't think the TV shows or the video games have done a good job of showing Sonic's more emotional side, which we got to see a lot of in like the adventure games, for example. And so that's something that I really want to compare here because I really am all for Sonic showing some more emotion, you know, struggling and having some conflict within himself. I really am a big proponent of that. I think that Sonic is not a perfect character. You know, Sonic has his flaws and you can easily expose them with some good writing. You know, Sonic's not this like perfect Olympian hero that everyone wants to live up to. You know, Sonic has his flaws, and I think writing should show that. I think the writing should kind of make Sonic be more relatable. And so nonetheless, I did find a couple clips here. I found this really nice clip of Ben, you know, acting somewhat emotional. I also found two different clips of Sonic with Roger, where there's one where Sonic is very emotional and one where Sonic is a little bit angrier. And so here are the clips.
So, as I crashed into the cold, dark water of the Pacific, I realized a few things. A, I have no idea where I'm going. B, saltwater stings. C, I shouldn't even be on this planet right now, but I am. Why? Because you shot me.
I know.
You shot me!
All right, I heard you the first time. You don't have to pile it on. Good grief.
I'm wet, I'm cold, there's a fish on my head, and clearly I'm not gonna be able to do this on my own. They're coming for me! If they steal my power, they could conquer the universe. You have to help me.
No, I don't.
Please, it's life or death.
You know what I think is compassionate? Saving the village from Eggman, like every week. But do I get any props for that? No! Everyone just goes around gasping at me when I call a guy, or people. I quit heroing, and I quit this stupid group! Huh. Must have missed this one.
Sonic, it's a trap!
Tails, no! Those rotten, sneaky...
Tails acted for the greater good. Let's make sure his sacrifice isn't for nothing.
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
And so for Ben, I really like that clip because it shows Sonic being a little bit angry and also Sonic being a little bit scared. It's very cool to see that contrast for the character. I thought that Sonic's rant with Ben was kind of funny actually. I mean, he definitely has that anger, but it still had a comedic tinge to it. And so I'd be really interested in seeing how Sonic would sound like actually being angry. But in terms of the more sensitive, softer performance that Ben gave, I really like that. Kind of showed that Sonic was letting his guard down a little bit, and I thought that that was a really like nice way of showing it. There's another clip actually, now that I think about it, of Sonic letting his guard down and asking for help, and I thought that was a really good performance from Ben also. And so I'm looking forward to watching the movie a lot just because I want to hear Ben in those more emotional scenes. You know, I really want to see Sonic like struggle here because this is Sonic's like first outing against Dr. Robotnik in this case, and so Sonic's gonna struggle. At least he should struggle. You know, he shouldn't just be like, oh, this is the first time experiencing this guy that's like this bad, but no problem. I have nothing to worry about. No, that shouldn't be the case, and that's most likely not the case. And so I'm really excited to see Ben like in this more emotional context with Sonic. Now, as for Roger, finding clips for Roger was very difficult, like I said, because I just feel like it's something that the games haven't really emphasized recently. Although I did find that one clip from Sonic Lost World where Sonic did lose Tails and he was very upset about it, and I'm sorry, but I actually really dislike Roger's performance in this one. Just the way that he says like, I couldn't save my little buddy. I think one thing it probably has to do with is the fact the dialogue itself is pretty cringeworthy. You know, people don't talk like that. You know, I just found the whole like line and delivery to be very cringeworthy. I just think that Sonic Lost World's tone overall is very and just not cohesive and not coherent. I think that has a lot to do with why that clip comes off so awkward and such. Now, for the Sonic Boom clip, I actually really like this, you know, so it's kind of similar to the clip I used of Ben Schwartz where he was like angry but with a comedic tinge to it. But I actually prefer Roger to Ben in this case. I thought Roger's performance here was just hilarious. Hearing Sonic like be so angry with such a comedic tone to it, it was so shocking and like so surprising to me, but I really dug it. I really like Sonic's performance in this case, and so I think Roger has his place. I think Roger is really good under a more comedic environment. I wish I showed more Sonic Boom clips to be honest, but I really liked Roger as Sonic in Sonic Boom because Sonic in that show is a lot more of a jerk, a lot more of an asshole, and he kind of shows off this very sarcastic tone to him, and I think Roger does so great at that. But when you try to put Roger in these more typical Sonic bravery / cocky / emotional scenes within the games, I just don't think it fits him as well. And so I'd actually am a really big advocate for them to make another Sonic TV show that's kind of similar to Sonic Boom in terms of tone, and having Roger do that Sonic, because I think that Sonic with him as his voice is so funny when it's like a more satirical comedic show. I think Roger is perfect for Sonic in that case. But in terms of the other kinds of material, I'm not a big fan of Roger in like other scenarios. Now with Ben, I think Ben has a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward to hearing what his voice sounds like in the Sonic movie. I think it's just gonna be such a cool thing to see, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Ben fleshes out Sonic within the movie. But let me know what your thoughts in the comment section below. Which voice actor do you all prefer? Do you all prefer Ben or do you all prefer Roger? Let me know why not in the comment section below. Let me know if you saw the movie especially, and let me know if you still prefer Roger or you still prefer Ben afterwards, because I think it'd be very interesting to see once we have the whole movie and can see Ben perform fully as Sonic, you know, just kind of like compiling our opinions and just seeing, okay, which voice actor do we really prefer and why? And so yeah, thank you so much. Okay, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Rival Sonic Gamer, Andrew Coughlin, and Desiree Webb. These are my patrons / YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.